Hi, my name is Christiana, and the topic that I chose for my presentation is risk management. So just to begin, the agenda for this presentation are just questions, an introduction, what risk and risk management is, the risk management cycle, then the cycle steps explained in detail. Then we'll have a summary, conclusion, and then my works cited. So for my questions, I have what is risk management, who is risk management for, what are the steps of risk management and why are they important, and then how can you better understand risk management. So for my introduction, it is pretty much just me explaining what the risk management cycle is. There are different ways, there are different versions, and there are different definitions and descriptions of what a company can make their risk management be. So I just chose the risk management framework from the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So per their definition, in simpler terms, the risk management framework is a set of information security policies and standards for federal government developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. To simplify their definition, the risk management process is just a list of guidelines for a company or project-based business to follow in order to minimize and contain the damages that a risk or incident can, if it occurs on their project, or just a way of them to prepare themselves for that to happen. So risk and risk management. There are multiple definitions to what risk is. It pretty much depends on what your situation is. So throughout my research, I found that there's financial risk, production risk, there's insurance risk. There's just multiple definitions and multiple ways that risk can be defined. And so the National Institute of Standards and Technology can pretty much work with any of those risks. But this is mainly for project-based business risk that we are going to cover today in this presentation. So with that being said, the risk management cycle has proven to be one of the best ways to try and prevent or rectify an incident or risk that occurred. And so it's basically identified the following activities which can be applied to both new and legacy systems that are implementable with an effective information security management system. So in short, once again, the risk management cycle pretty much is just a list of plans and a list of guidelines for companies to follow to assess, gather information, anything dealing with risk. So here I have for you the picture that I got from NIST's website. This is their model specifically for them for the risk management process. Hopefully you can see the first step is to categorize. The second step is to select. The third step is to implement. The fourth step is to assess. Fifth, authorize, and sixth, to monitor. So before the process actually begins, during my research, I found out that there's a pre-step, and that's preparation. So during preparation, companies and businesses, they just kind of gather themselves, their workers, their staff, and they talk about what to expect, what to look out for, just pretty much taking all the precautions necessary to make sure that they're ready in case a risk or incident occurs. So the first step, as previously mentioned, is to categorize. And in their definition, there being NIST, the RMF is to categorize the information on the software and hardware systems in regards to their model. And that's basically pretty much processing all information that's been stored, their data. And it's, in simple terms, basically the company chooses what they deem is an important asset to their company and to their project, and they categorize that as what the risk could be attacking or what it could be damaging, pretty much. Step 2 and 3 I combined together simply because step 3 is a short step. So step 2 is pretty much just the company selecting their security controls, and the security control can be hardware, software, or any technical processes needed to just assess and gather their assets. And the third step is pretty much just putting step 2 into action. So whatever steps or whatever security controls that they gathered in step 2, they'll actually put that to use and turn that into action during step 3, which is why it is called the implementation process or step. So step 4 and 5, I did the same thing again. I combined them simply because steps 4 and 5 can be put under the topic of evaluation. I'm not sure if I previously mentioned it, but the risk management process varies in different ways. Even though the core of the steps are the same throughout the processes, there's different ways that companies handle their own risk management process. So I just kind of mushed 4 and 5 together into evaluation because it can cover a broad sense of different types of risk. So for step 4, it is assessing the security controls. And during this step, it's pretty much just the company, again, they give all the hardware, the software, whatever they deem is an asset. They give that to the assessor, then they give their security controls, what they chose to protect their assets. They give that to an assessor, and that assessor just pretty much looks over it and makes sure that the company is headed in the right direction, just like an extra added step of security pretty much. And step 5, per the definition that I was given through one of my research articles, after assessment is finished, the next phase is authorization. In this step, companies present an authorization package for risk assessment and risk determination, simply put. And then finally, we have our last step, and our last step is step 6, which is to monitor. In this stage, it's pretty much just the company always looking at their assets, making sure that there's no warning sign, no trigger sign for risk or for incidents that are currently or going to happen. So from the screen, during this stage, companies monitor and assess selective security controls in the system on an ongoing basis, including assessing security control effectiveness, documenting changes to the system or environment of operation, and so on and so forth. Just once again, the companies are just always watching their assets, always watching their movements of the staff and everyone that has anything dealing with the project that they have going on, just to make sure that it's safe away from any risk or incidents. And going to the summary, just to piggyback off what I just said, it's always important to note that the risk management process does not eliminate risk. It is just a guideline or protocol, just something that helps companies be able to keep themselves together before the risk, during, or after the risk occurs. But it does not eliminate risk. So working up from the summary, risks are inevitable. However, once again, the risk management process does help to carry the burden of that load, just so that the company doesn't crush under the weight of the risk. Also, risk management is actually a great thing for a company because it allows the company to recognize that whatever project that they're building is not safe from risk, so that they're able to take the right precautions so that their project and all their hard work doesn't go to waste. And that is the end of my presentation. Here are my works cited. It was a pleasure, and thank you.